Hawaiian shirt with a flamingo and
Nice.
yeah, there we go.
All right, just in time for Captain Tack to go walk away and grab a drink. We're live.
All right, we are live.
Hey everyone, welcome to Talking Heads, episode 326, your once-weekly live show for the latest in beer and tech news. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Steve.
Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining on this Wednesday night or in podcast form over on Anchor.fm or wherever your favorite podcasts are found. If you've never seen the show before, we talk beer, we talk tech, we talk games, pop culture, entertainment, and March is all about mixology. It's a very good month, and pretty much the reason we're late.
Yeah, exactly.
All super chats will run in the air so long as they would not permanently demonetize the channel. Although, better way to support the channel is go on over to craftcomputing.store, pick up one of our fantastic pint glasses or one of my awesome rocks glasses, and start drinking like a pro. Other way you can support the channel is go over to patreon.com/craftcomputing and join the Patreon. Get onto the Discord server. Chat with myself, John, Brett, Steve, the whole group from Talking Heads, and join the awesome community that hangs out over there. Welcome to the show. Steve, how's it going, sir?
I'm feeling fresh and dandy.
Good. I could have guessed as much by your shirt.
Yes. I got my nice flamingo shirt.
Yes.
I'm
How are you
hoping
feeling?
for.
Oh, never mind.
Yes, I'm feeling peppy. I'm feeling fat and sassy.
Yeah. Oh, it's going to be a good show. A little bit of drama over in the gaming community. I don't know if anyone is an Apex Legends fan. I don't really partake in a lot of the competitive shooters or anything like that, but I do keep my ear to the ground from time to time for things going on, and oh man, were there some things going on this weekend with the North American tournament. Nvidia announced an all-new, their very first Blackwell GPU, data center only, unfortunately, but we've got some info on that, and I think that's going to take most of the show.
Yeah.
A couple of large items on the show this week. So, but as always, let's go ahead and start the show the right way. Yep. Steve, it's Mixology March. What are you drinking tonight?
Okay, so I had a few ideas. My first thought was going to be more like a D&D type theme. And I was thinking about doing like, get a bunch of mixers and get a bunch of like liquors and then rolling dice, and then and then like whatever the dice lands on, that's what I'll mix.
Ah, crap, a 2.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, that would be fun.
Tequila and Campari it is.
Yeah. But one, my liquor cabinet's a little drained, so it would have been pretty expensive for me to get it back up.
Yeah.
And two, it's not really craft. It's not really mixology because it's all random chance at that point.
Yeah.
So although the idea is fun and maybe we can do it later at a later time, I'm going to keep that feather in my hat. Maybe we'll do it later.
Yeah.
But I went back and I had this in the drawer of my bar area for the longest time. And I'm not too sure where I got it. I think my father-in-law might have given it to me. He found it at a garage sale or something like that. But I found this. It's an old 1970s. I think it's published in 1971. Drinks of Hawaii. Just look at that artwork right there, man. That is just like, it looks like Hawaiian Punch, like the old school Hawaiian
That
Punch.
is Hawaiian Punch with a little bit of Pink Panther mixed in.
Yes, that's exactly. It just screams 70s, right? So I'm like, okay, it would also be fun to just pick a couple of recipes out of here.
Nice.
So my first one is going to be, it's called the Banana Cow, is what it says in here. So it's 1 ounce rum, 1 ounce dark rum, 1 ripe banana, 1 teaspoon sugar, dash of bitters, dash of vanilla extract, and 3 ounces of milk. And then this is blended though.
Yeah.
So, okay, but I don't want the blender to go off in here, so everybody has to hear it. So when I do make this, I'm gonna have to leave for a little bit. But
that's okay. Yeah, as long as we both don't leave at the same time.
Right, exactly.
The show can go on.
Yes. And I have a margarita machine up there, so it's going to take me like 30 seconds. It's not going to take too long.
Yeah,
So that's my first cocktail.
that sounds a lot like a BMF. Yeah. I love banana blended drinks.
Yes.
Like I really believe they are the king of tiki drinks.
Oh yeah, you get a little banana in there, some coconut, and some pineapple. Jeez, it's gonna be good stuff. The next one is it's called a catamaran, and it's 1.5 ounce vodka, 1 ounce rum, some Dole pineapple juice, the juice of half a lemon, and it calls, I think it's Ogriette syrup, which is basically almond syrup.
Orgeat.
Orgeat. Okay, it's called
Orgeat.
Orgeat. Okay,
yes.
Orgeat. Okay, I didn't know that's what it was. I don't have Orgeat, but I do have amaretto, which is an almond liqueur, and I'll just use that. So I'm going to substitute the Orgeat for...
what I would do, if it calls for like... how much Orgeat does it call for?
Only like a half ounce, not much.
Half ounce?
Like, yeah.
I would almost take a little bit of milk and just add that in because Orgeat is it's an almond it's a milky syrup. It's a milky syrup. Exactly.
Yes. So I do. I have milk from my banana cow.
Yeah.
So I can use
literally a splash of milk and that'll probably get you what you want.
I'll just do that. And so those are my two. I don't know. Were we supposed to do 2 or 3? I don't know. I brought some extra backup just in case.
However many.
I go through cocktails a lot faster than I go through beers.
Yes.
So I did bring some backup. Not as tropical, but I could always make it tropical.
I mean, there you go.
I got extra pineapple juice. I got, all kinds of stuff.
So I have a number of time on the channel made my favorite version of a whiskey sour, which is the Boston Sour, which is the it's a whiskey, lemon, and an egg white, and it's shaken up and it's delicious, and you get this meringue head on it. And I always say it's my preferred version of the whiskey sour. There's another version of a whiskey sour though, and I'm gonna have that tonight. I'm gonna go for a full New York sour. And what that is instead of doing an egg white, you'd make up your whiskey sour, so whiskey and sugar and your lemon. And then you do a red wine float on top of it.
That's interesting.
And so you get this real fruity... I've got a red cab, just a basic red wine tonight. But you get this fruity red wine, like oaky kind of taste, mixing with your rye, mixing with your bourbon, your lemon. It's supposed to be really good. I've had it a couple of times before, but I've never made one myself. So I figured it was probably time for me to... affirm that the Boston Sour is my favorite and the New York Sour is the second, but I have to have the second favorite to call it that.
Just to make sure. You got to make sure that's what it is.
That's right. I'm also going to go for a whiskey smash, which is kind of like a mint julep, but you add, again, a little bit of lemon. And so some crushed ice, some whiskey, a little bit of mint, and some sugar, and that's it. And then this one you add just like a half ounce of lemon. And you have a whiskey smash. So those are my 2 drinks for the night.
You are way simpler than I am. Kind of.
These are some 4 ingredient drinks. They're not crazy, but I've gotten crazy on the show before.
Okay. Yeah. No. Egg. I speaking of like the egg with the foam on it, I was thinking about doing gin lime fizz, which is excellent. Get that nice fluffy head on there.
Yeah, Ramos Gin Fizz. Yes.
Yeah, Ramos Gin Fizz. Yeah, yes. Those are super good. But I'm like, God, I don't want to have to sit there and shake this thing for like 5 minutes to get it to foam up.
Right.
Because it does take a long time. Although I have done in the past, if you get like the little mechanical stir things, like little tiny ones that you use for like coffee or espressos or stuff.
Yeah.
Those work just as good. And it's like kind of like a cheat. You can get the egg to foam up without having to shake it for like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, your little the foamer tools.
Yeah, exactly, the little foamer tools. And it works great on those type of things.
Nice.
And it does it in like 30 seconds as opposed to shaking it for like minutes.
Yeah. That is the worst part about making a Boston Sour is you're sitting there for 45 seconds just beating the hell out of that thing.
Yeah, try it with the little wizard thing, the little swizzer. That works. It's a shortcut.
Okay.
Turns out just as good.
Nice. No, I will have to try that. All right. Got Gosh, what do I want to start with? I think I'm going to start with the whiskey smash.
Okay.
Simply because it's a nice, easy one.
You start with that. I'm going to start assembling my drink, and I got to make sure.
Cool. Tell you what, stay on the line for like 20 seconds. Let me grab my ice really quick.
All right, I'm going to grab.
And then you can gather your materials.
I will. I will.
Sound off
I already. You go ahead and grab it. I already have mine right here, and I'm going to explain what I got here. So this, my rum of choice. I've kind of switched to Appleton rum here. This is like one of my favorites because it's a good, tasty middle rum. It's kind of slightly sweet, slightly rummy, not too oaky. I kind of really like it. And it says 1 ounce of that. So we're going to do that. Pour it right in there. Maybe a little extra just for fun. Okay. And it also calls for a blackstrap rum. And I just bought this one. This one is the Corazon Blackstrap rum. Very molassesy forward. Very dark, deep caramel notes to it too. Calls for 1 ounce of that as well. And I've done like I've done a bananas Foster with this rum before too, and it is quite good. It is quite excellent. Smell. It's just so intoxicatingly good. Okay, and then it's calling for 1 ripe banana, which I picked the smallest banana. I didn't want it to be too banana forward, so I got 1 banana. Yeah. So I'm gonna chop this up a little bit. It's gonna get chopped up because this is, like I said, a blended drink, but I'm putting it in this glass that I'm gonna put and then throw in the blender, and then I'm gonna show you some here. Chop this into thirds. Put the banana in there. 1, 2, and then 3. This is going to look a little weird.
Now, for people looking for my overhead cam, know that I did try to set that up tonight. I plugged in 3 different webcams, and I'm having some USB issues on this PC right now. None of them wanted to work, except for my Elgato face cam, which required the Elgato app to activate the UVC driver. And when I turned on the app, it didn't recognize the camera.
Oh,
so
that was another thing too, that one of the reasons why I didn't think that the whole roll for my drink was a good idea, because I didn't have a way of showing what the dice landed on.
Right.
And an overhead cam would be perfect for that, but I'd have to set that up. So maybe in the future. I like the idea. I really do.
Yeah.
It's just that I don't have it set up right. It was just been too much to set up for today. So
yeah, we might have to do a dice themed.
That would be fun.
One of these days.
One of these days when we have everyone in the studio.
Yeah.
Maybe when we christen your new studio, we should all come in and do something like that.
Yeah.
All right. Teaspoon of sugar. Just a teaspoon of sugar makes you get diabetes. And dash of bitters.
In the most delightful.
Diabetes. Dash of bitters. Okay. And it says a dash of vanilla extract. Okay. Oh man. Oh, this is a brand new bottle of vanilla extract. I didn't even know. All right, just a dash. Ooh, that might be too much. That'd be a little vanilla forward. It's fine. Put some sugar in there, so it'll be good. And 3 ounces of milk. So
3 ounces of milk, and then toss it in a blender, and off you go.
Yep, that's right. So sweet. As I blending this, you could take over with your recipe.
I will do that. So I, again, am making a whiskey smash, which is kind of it's like a mint julep, but you add a little bit of lemon to it. And again, I tried setting up a second camera for all of you to see overhead. It was not going to do that. So I just juiced one of my super teeny tiny lemons. I juiced an entire lemon. I got about 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. So we're just going to pour that over some moderately crushed ice. We're going to add a 3/4 ounce pour of simple syrup. There we go. going to do 2 ounces, and I'm going to use a rye whiskey for this one. Usually a mint julep calls for bourbon. They want it a little bit sweeter. I wanted to try this with a rye, so we're going with the Elijah Craig Straight Rye. And finally, I'm going to grab a nice big ol' sprig of mint right there. When you do mint, slap it. That actually expresses all the oils and gets everything out. And I'm literally going to drop that straight into my drink, leaves first. Get all the oils out of there. And then, of course, I left my mixing spoon at the bar, so I'm just going to use my knife. We're going to give that a nice little swirl. There we go. And there you have a whiskey smash. Super simple cocktail. Absolutely delicious. If you didn't pick up on a theme, 2 weeks ago it was like threatening to snow still, and over the last 3 days it's been like 72 degrees every single day. Spring is here. I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, oh, definitely spring is here. Actually, that was perfect timing. The blending just finished. Right when you got yours done. Look at that. Perfectly blended. I didn't expect this, but this almost has a slight coffee flavor to it, like a banana coffee rum. It must be from that black strap that's kind of giving it those little kind of coffee flavors. But yeah, this is really good.
Which dark rum did you use again?
The Cruzan dark black strap rum.
Oh, Cruzan. Okay, yeah. Yeah, that does have a real deep molasses to it. So
it does. It does. Normally, I like Myers, but I thought for this particular recipe, recipe, the Cruzan would be better. So
I prefer my Myers with the banana shakes from Shake Shack.
Oh my god, yeah, that was so good. That was when we went to CES that one time. Bought a bottle of Myers, and downstairs from our hotel was Shake Shack, and we got some burgers, and I'm like, oh, you want to get a banana shake? That sounds pretty good. Yeah. Mixed it with that Myers rum, and man, was that just like the perfect thing. It was so good.
We tried it with every other flavor, and the banana was the best.
It was.
Yeah, we did a chocolate shake. We did a strawberry one. We kind of made the rounds. That was our nightly trip, was to Shake Shack with some Myers rum.
Man, that was good. I gotta do that again. Okay, I'm gonna call this one a winner.
That is delicious. I'm just gonna say, I think the mint julep's an overrated drink.
I'm more of a mojito than a mint julep guy.
I'm very much more of a mojito guy.
Yeah, pineapple mojito, especially if you just throw different fruits in there too.
Yeah,
get like a mint pineapple or a mint berry, something like that. So good.
Yep. Yeah, pineapple is probably my number one. A straight up mint mojito is number 2, and then mixed berry number 3. So yeah,
okay, yeah, nailed it.
You're right in there. I think the mint julep with just bourbon, sugar, and mint. I think it is such an overrated cocktail.
Yeah.
Overrated.
Overrated.
I don't think it's a very good cocktail.
Yeah.
I think just adding a little bit of lemon to it, it gives it so much more complexity.
Yeah. Just that sprig of acid to it. Just that tartness. Yeah.
Yeah. So good. All right. Mint julep for the Kentucky Derby. That is the official drink of the Kentucky Derby.
It is. I've never been, but that's what I hear too.
Mint juleps and red hats.
Yep.
A lot of people suggesting the Curzon rum for the to put in some eggnog. That is also fantastic.
Oh yeah, for the blackstrap one. Yep. That would be great. I do love eggnog. Unfortunately, they are not selling it right now. I don't know why they don't sell eggnog year round. I mean, I guess everybody would just be super fat if they did, because that stuff is so calorie rich.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing that they only have it for a couple months out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But man, sometimes I'm just like, this is so good. Stuff is so tasty.
Yep. Gosh, what is the? There's another mint mint-based cocktail, Caprishka. I think is what it's called, or Caprioshka.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Gosh,
Michael S. just mentioned it too. That's what he said. I think that's how you pronounce it. Caprishka? Capri Sun.
Yeah. Caprioshka. Yeah. Or Caproshka. There we go. Caproshka.
That sounds very Russian.
It sounds very Russian. So, yeah, no, I've had this one actually on the show before. So, yeah. Anyway.
Strawberry pineapple mojito. Yeah, that would be good. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, cool. We've been making cocktails for 20 minutes. Let's talk some tech.
Let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Or not. Let's just keep drinking cocktails. That's delicious.
I know. I'm getting my other one ready here. Not ready, but I'm getting the page ready.
So GTC is going on right now, and Nvidia took center stage and announced their very first Blackwell GPU. This is Blackwell has been known to be the predecessor to Ada Lovelace GPU. So the current generation of RTX 4000 series cards, the next version of NVIDIA GPUs will be based on the Blackwell architecture. So while there's not a lot to get excited about as far as gaming news in this, there are some massive data center implications in this, but Blackwell is the next chips we'll be seeing in our RTX graphics cards, so it is still worth paying attention to from a gaming standpoint.
Absolutely.
So Jensen took the stage in his leather jacket and held up two massive GPU dies.
I know, those were huge compared to what we have now.
So this is the B100. So this would be your Titan or your B100 level GPU die. In his other hand is two of them on the same package. This is the B200, the Blackwell-based 200. And for comparison's sake, the current Hopper GPU, which is the enterprise-only non-graphics computational GPU that is in data centers, has 80 billion transistors. This has 208 billion transistors.
My God.
It's almost 3 times.
It's insane.
The silicon layout.
It's insane. Yeah. But this is supposed to be for servers, right? This isn't for cards, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this could be indicative of the next generation of RTX
most definitely
cards.
is. Blackwell has been on the roadmap for Nvidia for a number of years as far as the next architecture to hit consumer space. Apparently AMD and Intel aren't the only ones who can use glue. The two largest dies possible unified as a single GPU. So here is the standard Blackwell using TSMC 4nm process. 10 terabyte per second memory interface. 104 billion transistors. And then this is the Blackwell 200. And this is 20 petaflops of AI performance, 192 gigabytes of HBM3E memory, 8 terabytes of memory bandwidth.
Insane.
And completely CUDA backwards compatible. Anything you run on CUDA, any AI machine learning process, any financial data processing, anything you run on CUDA, plug and play.
Yep. This is all backwards compatible. Now, there's no, I don't think there's any kind of, well, this particular chip, this is just a release chip, and this is for servers.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even announced when this is supposed to come out for servers, right? This is just, we're showing you what we got right now.
Right.
No announced date.
Right.
Which means, if, for us lowly end consumers who want a new GPU, probably looking at, late next year, maybe early, or maybe
I would say
2026.
I would say maybe Q4. No, Q4 this year is when
Q4.
we'll
You think?
Yeah, when we'll probably start seeing these
for the servers or for the consumer grade GPUs. Consumer. Oh, so we're gonna get like the 5090s, you think, huh?
Yeah. The enterprise side of things will probably be a late Q2 launch, like general availability, early Q3. System integrators, your Supermicros, your Dells, your HPs, they'll probably start selling these actually in the very near future with allocations coming again, probably May, June, somewhere in that time frame, I would guess. But then, I if I had to hazard a guess, I would say Q4. I would say probably a Gamescom October announcement, and then maybe like a November launch. And I've not talked to Nvidia about this at all, so I'm literally talking out my ass right now. So take my opinion with all the salt. But if I had to guess, if I had to like pick an event, I would say we would probably see a 5090 class GPU launch at Gamescom in Germany, October. That's been a traditional launch site for Nvidia doing new consumer GPUs. And we'll probably see the 90 and the 80 from that event. Maybe a 70, but then probably CES we would see the rest of the lineup announced.
So there we go. A little GPU divination from Jeff there.
Just a guess. Now, we don't have any exact specs. NVIDIA obviously didn't want to talk tensor cores, CUDA cores, RT cores, anything like that, clock speeds. The only thing that we have to go on is this is using TSMC 4 nanometer. We have 208 billion transistors and 192 gigabytes of HBM3E memory. And that's going to be for the data center series card. Likely, we will still end up with GDDR6 or 6X or some variant therein. I don't believe GDDR7 has passed JEDEC yet, and I think we're still at least probably 18 months away from an announcement on anything faster. Again, random speculation on my part.
I like the price listing. LOL.
Yeah, LOL. I didn't catch that. I don't think it's in this article. Apparently, for a B200, you're looking north of $30,000.
Yeah. I would think so, yeah. Hence the LOL.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
SLI lives again. Oh, we can only hope. We can hope and we can dream. Yeah, I miss dual GPU systems. I don't miss the power load, although the GPUs that we have right now are drawing twice the power of my SLI rig ever did. Like I put a 700 watt power supply in my old X58 SLI rig, and most of that was for the CPU, for my old i7 930 or 920. The 9800 GTX Pluses, gosh, what were those? 160 watt TDP. It's like, oh yeah, 300 watts to the graphics card, whatever. I'm gonna pump 300 through the CPU though.
Well,
and that's the way we rolled.
That is. Well, with the two chips on one, you don't have to do SLI anymore. It's like right there. It's built in. Just glued it together.
Yep. 8 years from now, Jeff will hold up an enterprise card with this GPU. I would seriously only be interested in these GPUs if they actually did graphics processing through VDI offloading or cloud gaming. Cloud gaming and VDI, obviously, I'm very passionate about.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA Hopper It is not compatible with graphics APIs. It doesn't run DirectX. It doesn't run Vulkan. It only runs OpenCL. It is a graphics processor because it is based on the same exact architecture as Ada Lovelace. But it has been fine-tuned to run CUDA processes, not graphics API processes. And there's no... Now, Blackwell, again, being on the consumer roadmap as the predecessor to Ada, we can make some assumptions that Blackwell, even at the enterprise level, will be a graphics API compatible system. So, yeah, you could probably totally game on a B200, and I can't wait to try that.
As soon as it happens, as soon as you get a hold of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a video coming out tomorrow, actually based on a very similar premise of trying again to get some graphics cards to do things in which they really weren't designed to do, although these ones were designed to do it and then had it disabled. And it ends about the way you would think, unfortunately. But
you gotta retrofit some fans to like blend your drinks.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Video cards were not meant to do that, but I bet you could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, unless DirectX support, useless for gaming. I wouldn't say useless. I mean, Intel's Alchemist drivers are basically just DXVK for anything DX9 through 11. All it does is translate the API in real time over to Vulkan, because that's way faster than doing DirectX processing on that system, and their Vulkan drivers are way more mature. And there's no reason you can't do DX12 to Vulkan either. It's just, at the moment, most GPUs are faster doing DX natively because they have, decades worth of driver support.
Right. Yeah.
No, there is a real possibility that if a new player came into the market, Intel for say, and they've been developing Vulkan about as long as everyone else has been developing Vulkan drivers, why not just use Vulkan and do live translation at the driver level instead of trying to continue optimizing DX? Like, in some ways, that does make a lot of sense.
Could be the future.
The A100 is based on consumer-reaching architecture, but doesn't support graphics APIs. I believe the A100 does. The H100 does not. Let me verify that really quick.
I'm pretty sure the A100 does.
No, the A100 does not. Okay.
Oh, does it not?
It is,
okay.
It is CUDA and OpenCL only. Okay, so yeah, you are correct, Giannis. So yeah. No gaming. No gaming.
No gaming. Yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Life finds a way.
Unfortunately, if it doesn't support any graphical APIs, then life is not going to find a way. These are going to be
that's true. Forever just
CUDA.
Just AI stuff.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, still could be fun. I mean, still could mess around with AI stuff 8 years from now when it comes down in price.
Right. If I wanted to do generative AI stuff, I've been getting interested in I guess music is kind of the next frontier for generative AI. And while I'm kind of interested in generative AI for visual medium or even language processing, music is where personally I'd like to utilize that. I am a musician. I'm not a fantastic writer, but if I could take the musical chops and the theory chops that I do have and pump it into an AI and get backing tracks for my videos, or be able to, get the things that are in my brain out onto, sheet music, score, loops, whatever. That is insanely powerful.
Nvidia, give me a beat.
Right. And again, I view Gen AI as a tool set that can augment you as a creator. And I've done a full video on this. That I don't think Gen AI is going to put really anyone out of work. In fact, recently, I don't have this in the notes, but recently, I think just a couple of weeks ago, there was a games developer who spent 6 months trying to create a game entirely with Gen AI.
Interesting.
So they actually put a team together and they said, we want to create a game. We want to go through every Gen AI that we think might be impactful in this space. We want to vet the ones that we think will be most beneficial to us, but we want the Gen AI to do the majority of the work while being guided by our programmers. And their conclusion after 6 months was Gen AI does not replace talent.
Yeah,
and that is
it's
their
not
words.
quite there yet. Yeah,
right. And so again, they saw quite a few benefits of streamlining some of these processes that you would normally see in development. And I think one way that Gen AI could be utilized very heavily is bug fixing. Why did my program end up doing this particular thing? Right. Explaining it in common language, or at least dialing down with the help of an AI that can process your entire thing and speak in general English about what is this API or process or string trying to do? Why is it ending up in this state? Or why did it affect this other variable in some weird way? And how can we fix that? How can we prevent that from happening? And while, developers and bug fixers and bug testers, they're very talented. If they could use AI to augment that process, that's a huge win.
Yeah. Didn't we see, we had an article a couple months ago, I think it was specifically with Xerox, I think it was, where they were using AI to do that exact thing. They were using it to debug their applications, but I think it was ChatGPT was then taking their code and utilizing that in their large language model, and they were incorporating their code.
That was Samsung.
Was it Samsung? Okay, I thought it was Xerox first. Okay, Samsung. But yeah, it was consuming the code that they were pasting in to debug, and then turning around and using that for other things, and then their code was getting leaked that way.
Yeah.
Of course, if someone wanted to buy this, if Samsung wanted to buy this chip and have their own language model and take that in-house, then yes, absolutely, definitely they can use that to debug, because then it won't go out into the ether. It's going to be all in-house.
Right.
And that would be a very valuable tool at that point.
Yeah. But no, I think there is definitely value to the average creator, to the average, semi-pro, to, if you are someone with zero musical talent and you need music written, you're probably going to hire a musician. Like, that's just the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
I spent the better part of 15 years as a musician at fairly high levels. Yeah. And I have some talent. Do I have the exact talent that I need to produce backing tracks for my videos? No. But I do have some talents and some ear and some, a skill set that does translate well into doing that if I wanted to sit down and develop it. Or could I use Gen AI to help develop that skill set and get me to a point where I can do my own stuff and not have to hire anyone? Am I going to cost someone their job? No, because I wasn't going to pay for it anyway.
Jeff, you don't have to hire anybody. You just hire me, as long as all you want is 3 blind mice on a recorder, because I nailed that in 3rd grade.
Right.
I will do that, repeat that again for you anytime you want.
Out of the 4 craft computing hosts, which one would I probably have do anything musical?
No, not me. Absolutely not me.
You're even 3rd on the list for karaoke, my friend.
No. I'm way better than John at karaoke. Come on now.
That's why I said you're better than John.
Yes, I am. Okay. All right.
So, yeah. These GPUs are obviously bound for data center. The really cool thing is not only are they taking 2 Blackwell GPUs and fusing them together on a single chip, which Ada also did, and I believe Ampere did as well. They're basically taking mirrored GPU architectures and then gluing them together in the center and then sharing some interconnect. Not only are they doing that, they've put 2 of them onto a grace a grace point chip. So this is a board that will slide into a server. You can see all the Oculink PCI Express connectors on there, as well as all of the power connectors that are fused coming off of it.
That's hilarious. That this is going to be used to power AI, and that chip just looks like a robot face to me. I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean,
this is like
it's totally got a smiley face going on.
Yeah. He's going to be taking over the world pretty soon, and he's got that grin.
Oh, look at the ARM chip. It's blushing.
Yeah.
Like
you power it on. It first says destroy all humans. I think I'm going to turn it right off after that.
Yeah. It's funny. I was actually shopping for a couple of new shirts today, and I'm like, you know what? I wonder if I could get like a Zoidberg shirt or something like that.
Oh, that would be great. Yeah.
I need a Zoidberg shirt. What popped up in my feed was a Bender 2020. Destroy all humans. And
destroy all humans.
That one cuts a little too close to home.
I'd get that one. That one sounds good.
Did Bender win the election in 2020? Like,
no,
because 2020 tried to kill us all.
Yes, it did.
Bender 2020, destroy all humans. I went,
I just want a Bender shirt. I'll get a Bender shirt or a Zoidberg shirt. That'd be good.
Yeah. I need a shut up, baby. I know it.
Yeah, shut up, baby. I know it.
Yeah. I need a Zoidberg. Maybe not the why not Zoidberg. But maybe I'm up for whatever. That's one of my favorite lines from Zoidberg.
The claw, maybe? The claw.
Are you coming on to me?
Yeah. Why not a Zoidberg shirt? Correctly.
I'm not hearing a no.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the best episodes.
Roswell that ends well is
one of the best episodes.
Not only one of the best episodes, but also Zoidberg is just on fire.
I know. That's a great one.
Wait, don't cut that. I need that to speak.
You can have. I got 5 of them.
Deviled egg.
Yeah.
The same
deviled egg.
What the general means is, why did you come to Earth? Not a day goes by. Didn't ask myself
that
question.
Zoidberg quotes all day long.
And Zoidberg picks up another piece. The crowd goes wild.
That's what the new Futuramas. They don't write for Zoidberg as well as they did before.
The new Futuramas don't write for the characters as well as they could.
No, they don't. They try to be as witty, but they don't write for the characters as well.
And that has been my criticism of I've talked about this point so many times about how it's one thing to put a character into a situation and see how that character would react. Yeah. That is very intelligent writing. It's where you get the best interactions, the best jokes, the best one-liners. And I'm talking specifically about, sitcom animation here. About we place Zoidberg in Roswell, New Mexico on a military base. What would he say? How would he interact with President Truman? What would he say to the scientist? That's genuinely funny.
That's good stuff.
When the characters become a vehicle for a joke that was written up on a board, and the character would never say that, nor would they put themselves into that situation, nor does it make any sense, nor does it... It's funny, but is it really the best you could do as a writer?
Yeah, that's the thing. They don't have... I don't think they have any... Well, with the latest season, did they have any of the original writers come back? I think they had a few, but I don't think it was.
I think they had a few, but yeah, most of it's just the voice acting that came back. I'll be honest, I haven't watched the latest reboot of Futurama.
Yeah.
Season 7 had a couple really good episodes. Overall, the lows were a lot lower, though.
Yeah, that's kind of the same with the latest season too. It's they had a couple good ones, but overall, it was meh.
But I mean, and you can see this when Seth MacFarlane moves on to another project, and Family Guy kind of goes down because he picked up American Dad, and then American Dad hits for 2, 3, 4 seasons, and then he goes, I'm going to do Cleveland Show as a spinoff, and the writing goes down, and then Cleveland Show's good for 2 or 3 years, and he goes, I'm going to do A Million Ways to Die in the West, and then he does the movie, and then he goes, I'm going to go on and do Orville. You can always tell when Seth leaves a project because the writing takes
go down,
a 40% drop.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And it's the same with every, long syndicated animated series. Simpsons for 6 or 7 years was amazing. And then they had some really dark periods where it's like, this is not good.
Simpsons have been around like season 3 or 4. They had Conan O'Brien writing for it. I mean, that's how long it's been around.
Yeah.
So I mean, those days were great. They had some really, really innovative writers, really funny writers.
Yeah.
Now they're just, I don't know, it's just cranking out the schlock.
So, yep. It's a different way to write. It really is. And writing for a character is much more difficult than writing a funny situation and having the characters be there and deliver the lines that you thought would be funny in that situation, but they're not written for the character in the character's voice. And that's really what makes it different. It
does. It makes an absolute difference.
To be clear, a 40% drop from Seth MacFarlane is still a decent level of writing. I fully agree with that. Yeah. Family Guy remained very funny and had some very good episodes for, a very long time. There was some noticeable drop-off, though. And I'm not saying that... I will say American Dad got bad. Like unwatchable after about season 7. Outside of maybe 1 or 2 episodes here and there, but the writing of American Dad, I think, is the one that really tanked off quickly.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think there's any real animated show that's out right now that I'm like, well, except for Lower Decks.
Lower Decks.
I like Lower Decks. That's probably my favorite right now.
And again, it's because they're following that metric.
Yes, but we're approaching season 4 on them now?
No, season 4 ended.
Okay, season 5, and we're getting season 5.
We're approaching season 5.
So we might be seeing a little bit of I don't know, we'll see.
The writing has been so incredibly good through, I would say, every single episode of the first 4 seasons. It has been remarkable. You can tell the writing team has a genuine respect, a genuine phenomenal knowledge of everything
Star Trek. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Not afraid to make fun of themselves. But again, the situations are the Cerritos is going to this place. Our characters exist organically within this universe for that reason.
Yeah.
And they are, as characters, as well-written characters, are reacting to the situation around them as they would. There's not been a single line delivered by a single character that I thought was out of place.
Yeah, they do seem to be doing exactly that, writing to the character as opposed to, oh, here's a funny thing, let's just have Boimler say it, whatever, type of thing. Yeah. So that's good. All the old classics. I mean, I still watch Family Guy, and I kind of barely watch Simpsons now and again. But yeah, it's gone really downhill, and it's just kind of there in the background now.
Yeah. Lower Decks, still my favorite, is the crossover. Oh, the Strange New Worlds crossover was so good.
Oh yeah, that was really good.
The number of little things that they managed to bring to life.
Well, that's part of the reason why I like Lower Decks, because just like the original seasons of Futurama, there's all these really cool little background things that you notice.
Yeah.
And Lower Decks has all that, especially if you're a Trekkie, because then you got all these different references to different Trek episodes, different things going on, things you didn't even realize until you watch it again, and you're like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
You got that Leonardo DiCaprio, he's like...
Yes. You're like... Constantly.
Yeah. So that's kind of why I love it, too. I mean, that's also part of it, too.
Skull goes, Riker, over the chair.
Yeah.
The little things in... especially in that Strange New Worlds crossover where Boimler and Mariner came into the real world and had to exist with the Strange New Worlds crew. Boimler doing the power walk down the hallway.
Yeah.
Where it's 2 seconds on screen, and it's out of focus in the background.
But it's there, and you see it.
And it's there, and you see it, and it's like, that's exactly his walk on Lower Decks. Yeah. That is something he would do in that situation, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Lower Decks watch party, $5.
I would love to do a Lower Decks watch party. Actually, I was really thinking of a way to like start branching out craft computing. I was thinking about this week. I watch occasionally some podcasts that will do episode by episode reviews of Star Trek shows.
Okay.
I think it'd be a lot of fun to sit down and watch an episode and do a commentary on it, and say, today we're reviewing episode blah blah blah,
right?
And people at home can watch along with it, and we'll do some kind of commentary about background or just a review or why it's funny or something like that. And so we can make our jokes and our inferences and things like that in the middle, and then we wrap it up with like a 10-minute like synopsis kind of thing. Like, I liked this episode, I didn't like this episode, plot points, or where is this going, or something like that. I don't know how well that would work for retro perspectives of like going back and watching, like, let's watch through DS9 and review DS9.
Right.
But I've thought about that. I've thought about, once a week sitting down with, one of you guys and like, let's review a Star Trek episode and see where that takes us.
Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. I mean, especially if you want to do, I don't know if you're thinking of doing it live stream like this, where we have audience feedback, stuff like that would be kind of fun. Or maybe only
I would think it would almost be like a homework kind of thing. Like, watch this episode, and then let's get together and let's hit play, and we'll talk about what we saw in the episode.
Right.
Or something like that.
Sure.
Where we come in, fairly prepped, and whatnot. But I don't know.
It's something to think about. It'd be kind of fun. I mean, yes, you definitely want to watch the episode ahead of time. I don't know. I think retro reviewing would still be kind of fun. Like, especially if we say like, pick our favorite Star Trek Next Generation episode, or our favorite Deep Space Nine episode, and why did we like this? Why was it so good? What was the nuance behind it? That would be kind of interesting. But yeah, this Lower Deck stuff. Yeah, that would be pretty fun.
Yeah, no, like I said, something that's been kind of noodling around in my brain of like, what's another project that wouldn't take tens of hours a week to do that people might be interested in.
Yeah, it was actually kind of funny when we were at the last PDX LAN. You had your double decker monitors, and on the top monitor. Well, you had I think it was college basketball on there for a while, but then you were doing Lower Decks.
Yep.
You just play Lower Decks, and people would stop by.
Yeah.
I would just sit there and watch.
Yep.
I'd sit there and watch for a while.
No,
like,
I'm bringing the double decker again, so I'll probably have Lower Decks playing again. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think we're sitting. I think you and I are right next. Oh no, you're right behind me.
We're right behind. Yeah, we're right behind each other. Yeah, we were next to each other last time, but we're going to be back to back.
Yeah. So I've got my sister on one side, and I have Rhett on the other.
Okay.
So Rhett's sitting next to me this time. Craft Trek, Captain Tack sends over $5. Thank you very much, Captain Tack. I would 100% listen to a Craft Computing Truck review, even if it was a new Patreon tier. I'm looking at more just releasing it into the ether. Of putting it up on Craft Extra, or even just making a new channel. Of just how quickly can we review? I don't necessarily want to go like the entirety of TNG. Like, good lord, I don't have 300 episodes.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But I think that would be a fantastic one. Is picking some of the best and some of the worst.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to suggest. Like, some of the funnest... Yes, talking about the best one, that's great and all. But some of the funner moments are going to be talking about what was the one you hated the most and why.
Right.
Because everyone loves a good hater. Come on.
Yeah.
It's always fun to hate on something.
Yeah. Like... Or, even crapping on the best episodes, Best of Both Worlds, as good as it was, that was an episode that was literally betting the future of Star Trek as a franchise on getting people to watch part 2.
Yeah. Oh no, it was.
And it worked. But man, had they not kept people on the edge of their seat for 4 months, that could have been disastrous.
There was a documentary, God, I think it came out quite a few years ago, but it basically was about the making of Star Trek: The Next Generation and how the first 2 years were just so abysmal in ratings and fans and stuff like that. And then the third season, really, they retooled it, they redid it. The episode you're talking about definitely brought the audience back in. And if it wasn't for that particular season, it would have been canceled. Yeah. And so, it was very, very interesting what they did, because they did a lot of retooling to the show. And I think it was, unfortunately, I think it was due to just Gene Roddenberry. Yeah, was interfering too much, and there was some other people who were just like, no, let's do it this way. Yeah. And once he got out of it, I think it was Gene Roddenberry and some producers. There's some producers that were kind of getting in the way, if I remember the documentary right. Yeah. But it was very interesting to watch, because I remember, well, I was much younger back then, but watching Next Generation when it first came out, loving all the seasons. I liked all the seasons, but it wasn't until I got older and I started rewatching, I'm like, yeah, these first 2 seasons, there's some good ones, that they aren't that great. Season 1, you could probably just skip entirely. Yeah. And that is always my criticism when someone says TNG is the best Trek. Yeah. Really? Because DS9 and Voyager both hit the ground running from episode 1. And had established tones and established characters and actually spent time Voyager no, but actually spent some time developing characters. And did DS9 have some downs? Yeah, it had some down episodes. DS9 didn't have down seasons, though. It didn't have 25 episode slogs that you're like, I rather would not have watched that. Right. TNG season 1. Look, as much as I love Q, I cannot stand Encounter at Farpoint. Yeah, that was a very weird one for me too. Only that I think was that the same? Did they also introduce Ferengis in that one too? Because they basically it wasn't that one. No, it was the one with the I can't remember which one but when they first introduced Ferengi, they were basically space trolls. They didn't have anything but yeah. And then, and then now you have Ferengis. It's like, okay, there's a developed culture behind them. They're all about commerce and greed and everything like that. Makes them a much more interesting type of a thing instead of just like. I love that that they actually reference that as like a sect of Ferengi. That it's like, we don't talk about those Neanderthals. Well, it's the same thing about. I think it was human. There was like the DS9 episode where they went back to the Trouble with Tribbles episode. And the original Klingons came on, and they didn't have the ridges on the forehead. And they were looking at Worf because Worf was in that episode. Yeah, and they're like, well, what happened? It's like, well, we don't like to talk about it. We don't discuss it without outsiders. Yeah. Yeah. No, honestly, if there's interest, I wouldn't mind sitting down and doing some review stuff for, screenplay review or storytelling or character development, like go into an episode, either the good or the bad. Like there are episodes that have probably been beaten to death as far as the bad. There's the game with DS9, there's there's Ghost Candle with TNG, there's Fairhaven with Voyager, like all the Fairhaven episodes, but also, you got to take the Captain Proton episodes, and you got to take, you got to take the good with the bad. And, you absolutely do. Yep. DS9 saved the Ferengi. Dude, Quark is an absolute baller. Yeah. Oh, no, absolutely. They saved the Ferengi. They really didn't explore them in Next Generation that much. Yeah. A little bit more towards the end of next generation. But yeah, DS9 gave them much more fleshed out characters.
Yep. Anyway, how is your blended drink treating you?
It is absolutely gone. Unfortunately, my mixing glass, I left it over on the bar area. I gotta go get it.
Well, that's okay because I can start mixing my next one while you're gathering your tools.
All right, I will go grab my glass. I'll be right back.
Cool. Actually, I said that, but I need ice in my shaker, so because my next one is a shake and drink. So I think I'll wait for Steve to come back, and then I can start doing my next drink. Denver sends over $5. FYI, ASRock BC250 Node 0 has fan controls on it for all 5 fans. Choose custom. Yes, I did discover that that Node 0 did have... Actually, they all have controls on them. It's just a header that plugs into... it's plugged into Node 0 by default. And yeah, so all 5 fans on the front of that chassis are PWM controllable. I actually found out if I tune the fans down to about 70%, it's bearable in the same room, and you can at least have a conversation. So cool. Steve's back. I'm back. I need to get some ice in my shaker. So
okay, you get your ice in the shaker. I'm gonna grab my ingredients and mix them together. So this is the catamaran, and the first one it calls for is 1.5 ounces of vodka. Oh man, got me on there. Okay, 1.5 ounces of vodka. Whoop. Splash extra for luck. And then it says 1 ounce of rum, which I like this rum, so I may do 1.5 ounces. I may do 1.5 ounces. Okay, I'm going to do 1.5 ounces. There we go. Equal parts. All things are equal. Okay. And then we got 1.5 ounces of Dole pineapple juice, which I actually have exactly Dole pineapple juice in the little can.
I love the little cans.
Yes, I do too. Because I love pineapple juice, but I can't drink a giant amount of it.
I don't need 48 ounces at once.
Exactly. So these things are perfect.
Yep.
You can crack one of these open, have a couple cocktails with it, and you're done with it.
Yep. And if I only have one cocktail, I still don't feel guilty about throwing away 3 ounces of pineapple juice.
Exactly. Now, this one is kind of surprising. It says half a lemon, which is a lot. That's why I got one of the smaller lemons, not one of the big ones. Yeah.
Well, I have super tiny lemons.
So, that's good. So I might not squeeze this one as much because, a lot of lemon juice goes a long way.
Yep.
Forgot to get a strainer for that, and a little seed popped in there. Oh well.
Extra texture.
Teeth are nature's strainers. And then it says 1/2 ounce of Eau Grit syrup, which you said to use a little bit of milk, right?
Yeah, do 1/2 ounce of amaretto. And then maybe half of that measure, so about 1/4 ounce of milk.
Okay, I'm going to do 1/4 ounce of milk right there. It's probably about right.
It's not perfect, but it'll get you close enough to where you need to be.
Yeah. All right. And there's the amaretto. 1/2 ounce, not quite. Top. There we go. Oh, that looks right. That looks good. All right. All right, there we have it. There's the basis of my drink. And then now I just need to blend. This one does call use the blender with crushed ice, all glass. And I will be right back as you mix yours.
Sounds good. Right. So I, again, am making a New York style sour. That is a whiskey sour New York style. We're going to start off with about 3/4 ounce of lemon juice. And again, while Steve was talking, I went ahead and juiced my lemon. So there we go. We're going to do 2 ounces of... In sours, I prefer a rye whiskey. So we are sticking with the Elijah Craig straight rye. This is the rye version of their small batch bourbon, and it is fantastic. So we're going to do 2 ounces. of rye whiskey. There we go. I need about a half ounce of simple syrup. So there's my simple. Let's grab the jigger instead of the the shaker. Gotta love the audio. There we go. Dang it! My pint glass stuck to it again. There we go. All right. So there's that. Then we're going to take that and we're going to strain it into a rocks glass with one giant cube of ice in there. I'm going to leave that just off the top because what I'm going to do next is do a wine float. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to take a spoon upside down on top of the glass and pour the wine onto the spoon, trying not to splash or cause any convection or circulation. I want the wine to float on top of this drink. That is perfect. And there we have a New York Sour. Cheers, everyone. Okay, that was 100% wine.
Oh, that... Oh, that looks beautiful.
Right?
Man, that looks great. But of course, when you sip it, it's going to taste just like wine, right?
Right. My first drink was entirely wine.
Yeah, okay.
Which is not bad. It's a good wine.
No, it's fine.
Well, it's a cheap wine. It's, again, little bottle.
Sutter Home, that's fine.
Yeah,
you
Sutter
don't got a
Home,
big one, yeah.
You know, little Cabernet.
So, if I thought about this, I should have switched my recipes. I should have done the banana one second. Because I had all these banana chunks at the bottom of my blender. It took me forever to rinse the stupid thing out. So, because I don't want... I mean, I guess it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if I had a little banana in here, but I want these drinks to be pure, right? I want them to be exactly like what the recipe says. And this one is quite delicious.
Right.
I don't know about the amaretto really shining through. Well, of course, it's barely there.
Right.
But the pineapple, vodka, lemon, rum, excellent. It's just this is the quintessential tropical drink right here.
Nice.
Wonderful.
So yeah, like I said, I've had New York Sours before. I've ordered them from bars before because I don't trust. No offense to any bartender, but I don't like ordering Boston Sours out and about.
Right.
I just don't.
You don't trust them to make it right?
I don't trust bars outside of like super high-end posh bars to properly make and have sanitary practices for using raw eggs and
stuff like that. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And if I'm at a posh bar, I feel bad because that's a difficult drink to make. And while I'm happy to pay bartenders to make me things, that one I feel like a dick.
Yeah.
There's so much work involved in that one to do it right, and I understand that's what bartenders are there to do. But there are so many other drinks I'd rather have that I feel good about ordering that I just don't order a Boston Sour when I'm out and about.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like kind of outside the mixologist bars, I know that there's quite a few of them in Portland that I've been to where they're all about, the specialty drink.
Correct.
Like
right.
Super high-end bartending, special skills type stuff.
got Morgenthaler opened a new place. What was that, a year or so ago? I've been wanting to go to that because I've been wanting to see what he's up to lately. But there's outside of like specialty high end cocktail bars,
right? Yeah, I wouldn't bother. But then when you go to those high end specialty cocktail bars and order one, it's going to cost you like $15 for that one drink.
Oh no, that's like a $25 drink.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you might as well just make that at home at that point.
Right. Exactly. So I've had everything out and about from smoked cocktails where they smoke your glass.
I've seen those before. Yeah. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Actually, I had that down here at Archive in the speakeasy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They were doing. Well, this was actually when I took Rhett there for the first time. She walked up to seat us and she goes, "Hey, just two today? Do you want to sit at the bar?" I said, "Actually, do you have any seating downstairs?" She goes, "Absolutely, follow me." And so we went down to the
speakeasy.
To the speakeasy.
Yeah.
And we pulled up and I said, "Give me an old fashioned. Let's see it." And he goes, "Do you want an old fashioned or do you want an old fashioned? Like, do you want me to make you an old?" Yeah. I said, "Give me what you interpret as an old fashioned." And so he brought out a smoker and he went hog wild. It's like, yes.
All the way.
Smoked old fashioned with peated whiskey is a must. This was a... Gosh, what whiskey did he use? It wasn't a peated whiskey. It was a...
Yeah, that just seems like putting a hat on a hat at that point. You're going to smoke your whiskey with a peated whiskey? Yeah.
Right, yeah. A little much. No, this was a 12 or a 15-year bourbon. It had some like candied flavors to like think of like a little smoke and candied bacon. It's kind of like yeah, with
a little of that sweet malty whiskey flavor to it. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. It wasn't bacon, but that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Oh man. Imagine having an old fashioned that kind of had a hint of candied bacon.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this sounds good. A fruited candied bacon. That sounds really good.
Skull says I did a smoked old fashioned, but only the simple was smoked, and it was great. I have a smoker. And I've got like 4 different kinds of wood chips. I do smoked drinks here. Like, it's one of my favorite things to do. Maybe in the after party, I think I'll break out the smoker.
Bring out the smoker.
Maybe we'll do a smoked old fashioned because that might be fun.
You just use some Camel Lights to smoke your old fashioned. Some Marlboro Reds, Marlboro Red smoked old fashioned. Oh, there you go. There's your smoked old fashioned.
Puts out the cigarette on my ice cube. So you wanted an old fashioned? God.
Delicious.
Patrick says, I'm nearly 60 years old, and this is the first time hearing of this. Dude, when you get into the wild, wild west of craft cocktails, it's pretty good space.
Yeah.
Yeah. One bar in London actually burns the board. I've seen that.
Oh, where they actually just char the board and they put the glass over the top of it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah, I've seen the basically take your lighter to your cutting board and put the glass over the top and let the cutting board just sit there and steep.
As long as that's pressure treated wood or anything like that. Right. Like, let's go put some toxic chemicals in your old fashioned.
Yeah. I've also seen like tile countertops. You light just some smoke or just some pellets on fire and then cover over the top. Yeah. I have an actual smoke infuser. I have a blower fan and a whole dome and things like that. So I can do single glasses or I can do like meats and cheeses.
Yeah.
So yeah. Smoked old fashioned with that Highland Park 12 sounds really good. Oh. Someone's been paying attention to the bottles I have. I do have a Highland Park 12. Maybe we'll go smoked old fashioned for the after party.
Smoked old fashioned would be very interesting.
Yeah. Maybe we'll go smoked old fashioned.
I have some interesting mixers that I want to try for the after party as well.
Sweet.
Yeah. So we'll just throw a bunch of stuff together.
Nice. You and I need to have a cocktail off one time.
I think you're gonna beat me on that one, to be honest.
I know I am, but I still want to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I think out of all four of us, the two that would probably have a chance would probably be me and you, because I used to host those Halloween parties, and I did a lot of mixing for those.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And you've seen my New Year's spreads.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
So yeah,
it's quite envious of your spread.
I've scaled down in the last couple of years, but yeah, that circa 2018 through 2020.
Yeah.
I was doing 24 bottle bars for my New Year's spread.
Yeah.
Walk up, ask for a cocktail. What do you like? I have it.
Yes. Well, that's what I used to do for our Halloween parties. I would cultivate the guest list, and I would ask people to each bring one. And usually I made sure that I knew the people that were going to absolutely be there.
Yeah.
And then I would every year a recipe book. And as long as everybody brought exactly what they think, everything in that recipe book could be made at the bar.
Yeah.
And the book was pretty decent. There was at least 100 different recipes in there, and all of them could be made.
Our parties would be about 40 people or so, and not everyone would drink. But what I would do is, my father-in-law typically hosted the New Year's party, and he is a big foodie. He loves barbecuing or taco, and he loves making in bulk. He loves making fantastic food for as many people as possible.
Right. And
so he would go, you know what? This year I'm doing like 3 briskets. And so I would go, well, what cocktails go well with a brisket? What's some Kentucky, Texas style, cocktails that'll, little tequila, little mint julep, little, something, try to match the style. Hey, we're doing tacos and enchiladas. Oh, sweet. Let's get some tequila drinks in here. Let's do some margaritas. And so I would have like a curated cocktail list where I would have like 15 cocktails on a menu that you could take a look at, and those were kind of like the specialty ones that I would come up with for the year. But you could always come up and go, hey, give me a Godfather. Cool, I've got amaretto and whiskey. Here you go. So whatever you like to drink, I still have.
Yeah. But then you could still have like the specialty drinks that were really like geared towards what we were eating, what we were doing, Yeah. A Bloody Mary with barbecue sauce. Slather that on the brisket.
Yeah, and what's really funny is I have. You always hear from people who they go out to a bar and they go, oh, I don't drink rum. I had a really bad time with rum one time.
Yeah, there's a lot of people like that. Yeah,
you had some really crappy rum.
Yeah,
but I will say. There's something about some tequilas and there's something about some vodkas.
Right.
The hangovers are worse. And but for someone to go, oh, I don't drink rum, it's literally just sugar. So
it's fermented sugar. Yeah,
it's fermented sugar.
Sugar cane, but yes.
You probably had some really bad rum or some really bad mixers, or you had already wasted your life with 12 Coors Lights before you ordered a Mai Tai, and then you blamed the crappy orange and pineapple juice Mai Tai on rum. No, that's not it. Let me make you an actual Mai Tai. And I've fully converted people back over. I've converted myself back over.
That's what I was just going to tell you. My story about. Happy birthday, Steve. This is from Uber Sprite, $20. Happy birthday, Steve. Jeff, I have my ingredients prepped for the bar top. Give me that New Jersey Manhattan recipe once more, or whatever you call it.
Oh, the New Jersey Manhattan. Are you talking the sour that I have? New Jersey Manhattan. So there is. I mean, there's your standard Manhattan. There's a 212 of 2 ounces of, and again with a Manhattan, I prefer a rye whiskey, to 1 ounce of vermouth to 2 dashes of bitters, and that is your traditional Manhattan. There's also variants of that. I'm trying to think of what the New Jersey one is. I know there's a cocktail called the Taste of New York, which is you also add a 1/2 ounce of simple I'm trying to think of what the kicker is.
Sweet vermouth?
Yeah, it's 1 ounce of sweet vermouth. It's a half ounce of simple, and I want to say it's a half ounce or maybe even a quarter ounce of like Campari. And that kind of really spices up that drink a little bit. Uber Sprite. Yes, that doesn't tell me anything. Are you talking the New York Sour? Or are you talking a Manhattan? What are you talking about? What drink would you like? And let me give you the recipe. I also missed one from Denver, a little higher up, $10. Thank you very much, good sir. Settled on an OS for the BC250. Windows just works, but I'm playing around with Steam OS because of RAM, but I don't need to use the 680M APU to image because I got no video for out of box on BC250 after imaging. Denver, have you figured out drivers to work for the BC250? Because I have not. And I have spent literally 3 days on the BC250 of modifying driver packages of Linux, SteamOS, Windows, going through top to bottom, every trick I know, talking to other people. On Windows, you're not going to have a good experience because the BC250 does not support DirectX. So speaking of gaming devices that should never have seen the light of day, the BC250 does not support DirectX. It does support Vulkan, and I've gotten Vulkan technically working and recognized inside of Linux, but I can't get it to render. Every time it renders, it defaults back to software rendering. So if you have a driver and you can come up with, the one I have now. Okay, Uber wants the one I have now. New York Sour. This is 2 ounces of a rye whiskey. It is about 3/4 of an ounce of fresh squeezed lemon juice or lemon juice out of your fridge. If you have lemon juice out of your fridge, that's usually a little sharper, and so I would go half ounce. 3/4 if you squeeze it yourself, half ounce if it's store-bought out of a bottle. About half ounce of simple syrup. I use a 2-to-1 simple syrup, so 2 parts sugar, 1 part water. Shake that for probably about 30 seconds or so. Strain it over a single rock, and then you float a red wine on it. A lot of people recommend some more of the fruity, less of the dessert wine, and so don't go for like a port or
what about like a sangria?
Go for a sangria. Go for a Cabernet. Something like that. Go for a nice hearty, fruity red wine, and you float that on top. Bullet 10 lime ice pips in a shaker. Bullet 10 would actually probably be a fantastic match for that, as far as a bourbon goes. So yes, you're all set. The one thing you need is a red wine. Do you have any red wine around? Are you willing to open some red wine? Even some boxed red wine on top would be fine. If you don't have red wine, here's how you go to a Boston sour. Is you do that same mix of 2 ounces of rye whiskey, 3/4 ounce lemon juice, half ounce simple syrup. You crack an egg, and you drop an egg white into your shaker.
That's gonna get
not the yolk, the egg white.
Yeah, if you do the yolk, it's gonna get all messy.
Then you cap it, and you shake the bejesus out of it. Like 45 seconds. You work until your arms hurt. Then you strain it. And what you get is a whiskey sour, but it's a creamy, velvety whiskey sour with like a meringue top on top. It's amazing.
Yeah.
There are some people who say do the egg white and the wine float. I hate those people. Don't listen to them. They're 2 different drinks.
Yeah, I've even seen with the meringue top, they just sprinkle a little bit of bitters on the foam top, like 3
yes.
dollops, 3 little drops.
Yeah.
I've seen that before too, and that's good too, because you get that little bit of bitters in there.
You absolutely want the bitters on top if you do the meringue top, and you can also take a toothpick and swirl it, and so you get a nice design, little design in there. That's my favorite way to do it. If you really want to be a baller, substitute your 2 ounces of rye whiskey for 1 ounce of rye whiskey and 1.5 ounces of amaretto. Now you have an amaretto sour. That will change your life. 1.5 ounce amaretto, 1 ounce rye whiskey, 3/4 lemon, 1/2 simple, egg white. Shake, strain, enjoy.
And like I said before, if you don't want to use the shaker too much, you can use the little coffee blending thing. That works just as good.
Apothic Inferno Red Blend. That sounds like a fantastic way to go for me. So yeah, crack that wine open. New York Sour. We do have some other news to get to.
Yeah, we only have a half hour, so
we only have a half hour left. So
we should probably get to it.
I warn people about Star Trek talk at every top of the episode, and sometimes it's pervasive and sometimes it's not.
We sometimes do it at the end. Sometimes it sneaks itself in the middle.
Yep. I did like 8 dashes of bitters, Rep says.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes it depends on the type of bitters. 8 dashes is absolutely acceptable.
Yeah. Angostura, you're probably getting up there, especially with like cinnamon content and things like that. You can really overpower things if you go too much Angostura. Same with if you have like bitter housewife bitters. Those are super potent.
There was a cocktail I made that was 100%. The only alcohol in it was all bitters. And it was a flip, and it was absolutely delicious.
Wow.
It was a flip, and the only alcohol in it was Angostura bitters, and you used like half the bottle of Angostura bitters, but
Good Lord.
It was really good. I am not lying. It was super delicious.
Wow.
I have to go find that. It was a bitters flip, and it was one of the shaker ones, and it was really good. I have to go refine it again and do it again. But
I will say, do you wanna change the way you drink soda? Toss 4 dashes of bitters into a Dr. Pepper.
I've never tried
Dr. Pepper, ice, 4 dashes of bitters. It'll blow your mind.
Really?
Yep.
I'm not a big Dr. Pepper guy, but
you can do it with Coke.
Okay, I'd do it with Coke. I got Pepsi.
Yeah, do it with Coke.
Yeah, I'll try that.
No, it will absolutely blow your mind.
Okay.
I mean, you're 2 ingredients away from a Cuba Libre, so
rum, Coke, and some bitters?
Rum, Coke, bitters, and a lime. That's what makes a Cuba Libre.
All right, there we go.
Yep.
I thought that Cuba Libre was just a rum and Coke with lime. I didn't know that bitters was involved.
Bitters is also involved in a Cuba Libre.
Okay.
A Cuba Libre is 12-ounce Coke. It is 1.5 ounces to 2 ounces of rum. Mm-hmm. It is usually you have a lime, you squeeze half the lime into it, and then you use the other quarter for a wedge.
For a wedge, yeah.
So quarter in the glass, quarter on top of the glass, and then 3-4 dashes of Angostura. That's a Cuba Libre.
See, I always did my Cuba Libres with just lime. I never did the bitters in that.
Oh no, gotta do. Oh, the bitters make that drink.
Okay, I'll have to. I'm rethinking this now. I have to try it.
Do not mess with the doctor. Dude, I'm telling you, Dr. Pepper and bitters will blow your mind.
I'm gonna have to buy Dr. Pepper.
Not even any other alcohol involved. Just
I don't
2 or 3 dashes of bitters.
I don't hate Dr. Pepper. It was just never my go-to soda. That's all. It was just never there. I didn't hate it. I just was always there.
Yeah, Dr. Pepper is definitely my go-to soda. But Pepsi's probably my number 2.
Yeah, that's my number 1 right there.
Right, but no, Pepsi and bitters also equally good.
That I can do. I'll have to try that.
Yeah.
After party drink. Rum, Pepsi, bitters. Well, I don't have lime, but I do have lemon, so I don't know if that's going to be the same.
Trinidad Sour uses 2 ounces of bitters.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that I knew. I knew there were drinks out there.
Yeah. Is the bitters flip with cold brew? No, it was not with cold brew. But that would be amazing, actually. Mm-hmm. That does sound really good. The thing that really amazed me about the bitters flip is that how spice forward it was.
Yeah.
And I can see that really working with a coffee flavor. It would be excellent with the coffee espresso. I think now I want to go find that recipe and now try it with some cold brew coffee.
Sorry, the chat in Discord's getting kind of funny.
Okay, there I am. I'm there.
Anyway, we do have some news I wanted to get to. And this is Apex Legends had a bit of controversy over the weekend. So the North American Championships tournament was happening this weekend. The biggest players from the US and Canada were playing Apex Legends, playing online. And on Sunday, during one of the matches, one of the players, all of a sudden, on their live stream and in-game, they had a map hack activated and auto-aim activated.
Wow.
How many times have we seen this story before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Top-level player. Oh, I use that for practice sometimes. Or,
yes.
you know...
Just for fun.
Now, before everyone jumps down my throat, I know the story to this, okay? But I'm giving you, like, the gut reaction of what I saw in the news of Apex Legends players claim they were hacked. My computer was hacked. Of course I never used cheats. I would never use cheats, says the number 3 player in the world. Like, come on. I've read this script a dozen times over. I'm really sorry. I'm sorry that I got caught. It's unfortunate I got caught. Can you blame me though? Like, the pressure to continue, like, this script has played out 1,000 times over in competitive gaming. Okay. However, like 2 minutes later, during the same match, another player had auto-aim enabled. Had an aim button running. Where he went to aim and it just flipped him around 180 degrees and locked onto someone. And both players went, I'm getting hacked. I'm getting hacked. I'm getting hacked. Oh, crap, I'm getting hacked.
In a sanctioned competition, too, which is, like, insane. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, how many times have we seen the script of someone accidentally activates cheats during a competition or during a tournament? Like, I've not seen that script thousands of times, but I've seen it 85 times. Mm-hmm. Like, not surprised if this was what happened. However, both the players are kind of stand-up people in the community. That was kind of like interesting flag number 1. Interesting flag number 2 was when the cheats were activated, they immediately jumped out of the stream and said, I don't want to cost my team anything. I'm going to jump out. But then both players kind of stayed on stream for a while and were talking about it. And one of them was like, I've heard of this happening before. And someone in their chat said, well, why don't you run malware bytes? And so he ran it. It came back clean. And he goes, I don't know, man. This is just weird. And was just talking for a while. And, wraps up the stream. These two events actually caught the attention of Apex overseers. Mm-hmm. They suspended the tournament.
Oh, really?
Because of the integrity of gameplay.
Well, tainted. It's tainted at that point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But they didn't, like, go out and blame the players and crucify them and everything else. They're like, no, something weird's going on. We need to shut down the tournament indefinitely until we can figure that out. And so Apex stands in and goes, there's a problem. And at that point, people went, oh, maybe these people weren't cheating. Maybe they genuinely were hacked. Then, of course, rampant internet speculation. Well, obviously, someone has remote code execution for Easy Anti-Cheat. That's how they're getting access to your system, because Easy Anti-Cheat has root level access. And of course, that's like the only way to do it, right? Said from an Apex Legends bro who is only playing this on the weekends in between Dota tournaments.
Right. Yeah.
Of course, their understanding of PC security is so well evolved.
Rudimentary at best.
Yeah, they just go, oh yeah, no, it's got to be Easy Anti-Cheat. It's the only thing with root level access, right? Remote code execution, RCE. We've seen this ever. So Apex Legends suspends the tournament.
So let me ask this. This is something that so when they have these tournaments, the players don't bring their own PCs into play. They're the workstations for them to play are already set up with the game installed by default with what they
in this case, no. This was not an in-person tournament. Right.
Okay, this was not an in-person tournament. Okay.
Right. Yeah, this was a it was a North American tournament, but it was play at your home, stream to your base, individual players playing in team groups kind of thing. And playing on their own PCs. John J says, Craft Computing. Oh, so Rhett plays this.
Only if this was a Morrowind mod would Rhett play this.
Right.
The Apex Morrowind mod, then he would play it.
I can't wait to see how well Morrowind runs on a 6900 XT and a Threadripper 24 core. Like, that's going to be amazing. Oh, yeah. Anyway, early on Tuesday, this started catching my attention, more so than the, 2 players caught using hacks at Apex Legends tournament. I'm like, whatever. I've seen this story before. I don't care about it. Easy Any Cheat says there is no known remote execution flaw in Easy Any Cheat. Now, that means one of two things. Either Easy Any Cheat is talking out their ass and goes, we've investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. Mm-hmm. Or Easy Any Cheat has been talking with Respawn and EA and potentially the players involved, finding out the circumstances, actually doing some research, and exonerating themselves from the witch hunt.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think Easy Any Cheat's off the list as possibilities, but there's not a lot of evidence pointing to them as the smoking gun. So that was their statement on Tuesday. Later on Tuesday, Pirate Software actually managed to interview one of the 2 players for this hack. So there were 2 players in the hack. What were their...
Destroyer 2009 and...
No, Destroyer 2009 is the hacker.
Okay.
Imperial Hal.
Okay.
Imperial Hal is the streamer who was hacked and stayed on stream and ran malware bytes and found no hits. While he's talking to Thor, Pirate Software, if you haven't seen him, offensive security research specialist, fantastic watch. While he's talking to him and they're watching different streams and different reactions and like in real time, like as this happened, how did it happen? What was your reaction? What did you do? What did you see? They discover that late in Imperial Hal's stream, Malwarebytes pops up with a little thing that said, alert, incursion, incoming connection on port 135.
Oh.
From some random IP address. And he goes, well, that's interesting. Hold on a second. Thor goes, I want to know who that IP address is. I want to know where that is. That IP address has been flagged by 9 out of 91 security research firms as being a repeat host of malicious content. And that was an incoming connection to that player's computer. So that kind of exonerates the players.
Yeah, that's a big find. That's the thing that boggles my mind. Why would you have any tournament, like a serious tournament, ran with any outside connection?
It's just the way I think you have to do it in most of these cases.
But I mean, okay, I understand with sometimes you have to make sure everybody's updated and things like that. But when it comes down to the tournament, you can turn off outside access. You could just turn it like that because you can have it go LAN, right? I mean, I don't know how Apex works. Maybe
but
Apex
they're not playing LAN. They're connecting to Respawn. They're connecting, so you
right. So
I mean, you could in theory like whitelist it, but who knows what other things might break. These people are also streaming to Twitch and whatnot while they're doing this.
Yeah,
so,
I get that. But for a sanctioned tournament,
I think if this was like an overall like world championship, they usually host those on site with sanctioned PCs and things like that.
Yeah.
I've seen those events. But anyway, potential incoming connection, 135 Windows RPC, and kind of went, wow, okay, this might not have been players accidentally activating, cheat plugins or, aimbots or things like that. This might have actually been an attack. And the other piece of evidence in this was when Imperial Hal's PC started, or no, when the other player's PC. So there were two players. Where's the who was the other player? Sorry, I want to get the names right, so I'm searching through.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to read these articles, so I'm just hearing about this stuff.
So I apologize if I don't get the other player's name. The first player that was actually affected, when his stream was affected, he actually got a pop-up on the screen of an aimbot that immediately closed, and his chat bot started going nuts and streaming Apex Legends or Apex Hacking Global Series by Destroyer 2009. Now, Destroyer 2009 is a very well-known name in the Titanfall and Apex Legends
communities,
and not for good reasons.
So he's a troll, is what we're saying.
A very well-known troll.
Yeah.
So a couple of things happened today that kind of further this story out a little bit. Number one is Respawn has made a statement and said, we have made the first in a wave of patches regarding this weekend's hacking. And sorry, let me see if I can... There we go. So Respawn has issued the following statement. On Sunday, a few professional Apex Legends players' accounts were hacked during an Apex Legends event. And so they are acknowledging these players were compromised. That's actually a big thing. Number two, game and player security are our highest priorities, which is why we paused the competition to address this issue immediately. Our teams have deployed the first of a layered series of updates to protect the Apex Legends player community and create a secure experience for everyone. Thank you for your patience. Which I think is the proper response. Yeah. You're not going to get a detailed response. Oh, we found this one single bug in our source code, but 38 still remain. You're not going to get that response. You're going to get, we found an issue and we patched it.
SQL injection.
Right. So, and this is how, security development works, is we found a vulnerability, we patched the vulnerability.
Right.
We also found potential vulnerabilities based off that vulnerability, and we also patched those vulnerabilities. You're right. That's the first thing you want to do to keep your user base assured that you're on top of it. It's like, yes, we see this, we recognize this is something that happened, we're fixing it. Instead of like dodging the questions like, oh no, it's just a one-off or whatever like that. Actually putting behind your making sure that everybody knows that yes, this was a vulnerability, we're fixing it. Captain Tax says, good old Bobby tables. Bobby drop tables? XKCD? Oh, come on. I know you know that joke. Why did you name your kid Bobby Tables? Have you not seen that card?
No, I don't think so.
Wow.
Bobby Tables.
Hold on.
Oh, is that XKDC?
Yeah, XKCD.
Yeah, SKDC.
Yeah. The school is calling. We have your son. He's in some trouble. Oh dear, did he break something? In a way, why did you really name your son Robert Drop Table Students --? Oh yeah, little Bobby Tables we call him. Well, yes, we've lost this year's student records. I hope you're happy, and I hope you've learned to sanitize your database inputs.
Absolutely. Good old SQL.
Good old Bobby Tables.
Good old Bobby Tables.
Yeah. So the other thing that happened is apparently TechCrunch got a hold of Destroyer 2009 and interviewed him.
Oh, man.
So there's a good write-up on TechCrunch, and I think I posted this down in the description. It's good. It's a good read-through. Destroyer 2009 declined to provide details of how he allegedly pulled off the hacking of the two players mid-game or which specific vulnerabilities he exploited. And again, for the hacking community, for the Black Hats, that's also kind of standard practice. You don't.
Yeah, they don't want to give away your stuff. Yeah, yeah.
You don't let them know what you know that they know that you know that they know. Yes. And so it's very much a cat and mouse game. It's really interesting to watch something like this develop in real time.
Well, especially on a publicly broadcast tournament.
Yeah, and especially with, literally hundreds of thousands of people invested in the outcome.
Money invested and all types of stuff with that.
The tournament this weekend was a $5 million cash pool.
$5 million prize, yes. Yeah, I just read that, yeah. So I mean, yeah, you're gonna for $5 million, you would think they'd have a little more security, but I guess not. I don't know. $5 million to me sounds like that should have been a sanctioned tournament that didn't have any outside connectivity, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Lesson learned, I guess.
One would think. I mean, what does it cost to get everyone in North America to a central location? $8,000 a player, and that's with whining and dining them, and staying in the Hyatt, and yeah, you can't be that much. And if you got a $5 million prize pool, fly everyone out, have it in a single location. Sell tickets. There you go. But yeah, it's been interesting to watch this develop, and I'm by no means an expert in either side of this. I'm by no means a security expert. I am no means a hacker.
I'm by no means an Apex Legend expert.
I'm by no means an Apex Legends expert.
I played it like 3 times.
Yeah.
We were gonna play it at the last LAN party. We didn't, but
yeah,
I spent 30 minutes installing it and we never played it.
In this LAN party, we got some options. We've got Dragon's Dogma 2. We've got
So I don't know if I want to talk about this right now, but PDX LAN, we're going to have this in the next couple of weeks. We've been trying to coordinate. I've had some ideas about how we can figure out what games we want to play. And maybe I'll talk about this more in the after party because I think more of the people that are going to be there are going to be involved. But totally. I have some ideas, so I think we'll probably talk about them. But yes, we want to play some really good old school retro games. We also want to play some really good newer games. So I have some ideas of how to figure that out and how to coordinate that and how to make that happen.
I've been dying for some retro games. I would love to get on and do a Diablo 2 run through.
Oh yeah, Diablo 2 would be great. What's the maximum capacity for Diablo 2? Because I know they have the old school one, and then they have the newer one, the remastered version.
Right, there's the remastered version, which is pretty cool. It's online server only, which is fine.
Yeah, we can still work that.
I was thinking about hosting a classic Diablo 2 server, and
to go break out my CD.
I have a version that is a LAN version that should work just fine. That also has like widescreen patches and things like that, so you could play it on a modern PC. Right. It is the original binary.
Well, that's
slightly modified to run on modern PCs.
That's part of my issue that I think we need to talk about, because there could be some like ISOs that we need to distribute. Because like, okay, we want to play this version of Diablo 2, or we want to play this version of Unreal Tournament. Not the Steam provided, the GOG provided, our custom version.
Yeah.
That's going to make a big difference into trying to coordinate how we're going to all play something together. Because even when I used to run LAN parties back in the day, that was the biggest struggle, to get everybody on the same version of the same game, to get everyone playing it together.
What's the capacity for the original StarCraft server? 8 players.
8 players?
Yep.
We could do 8 players.
We could do an 8-player free-for-all. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Oh, man. I'm going to Zerg rush everybody.
Yeah. I usually will bring a 1 terabyte USB 3 drive with me. And so I'll have that available.
Hey, Jeff,
we'll talk more about it later.
Just to let you know, I have a stack, like a stack this big, of 1 terabyte drives. If we need to put all the installed games onto them and distribute to everybody that's coming, I can do that.
Well, my external is an SSD. It's a USB 3.0.
Oh, okay, that will work too.
Yeah. So you need to copy a 600 meg ISO. It's like 6 seconds over.
You're right. At 600 megs,
yeah.
That's no big deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my plan for that.
Okay.
That's how we did Wreckfest. Not last time, but the time before. Last March, we did what was it, a 9-player Wreckfest? That was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah. All right.
This is a drink that develops over a very long period of time, because as you're drinking and sipping and it's slowly like cycling that wine down further into it.
I'm just down to the foam. I'm gonna
yeah.
I'm ready to put some just straight vodka in there.
You get less and less straight wine and more of that traditional whiskey sour, and you finish with like a dark fruited whiskey sour. It's just so good.
That sounds really good.
Mm-hmm. So, interesting to see everything that's developed out of this. Apex Legends, Respawn, Easy Anti-Cheat, He Said, She Said, FPS shooter Game Bro said. Like, everyone had a take, and almost everyone was wrong at some point. And so, where this develops and where this goes from here, and if we'll even learn anything new in the coming days, that's still well to be determined.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, we got a super chat from Green Protagonist, $5. Thank you so much.
I can host 5 to 7 retro game clients, full access via Parsec. I was highly considering, and I still might do it, bringing nothing but my new Threadripper 7000, 64 core, with a pair of RTX A5000s, gaming on that, via Parsec or even via Windows, like NVLink those suckers and go to town. But then being able to reboot into Proxmox and hosting like 12 game clients for retro games.
That would be fun.
Ooh, I think a Duke 3D tournament is a must. That might be kind of fun.
We did. We had some discussion on the Discord about doing some old school Duke 3D, which would be absolutely fun, because that was one of my favorite original ones.
Outside of Duke 3D, Ion Fury.
Ion Fury? Wait a second.
That is the 2019 game that was developed in Build Engine by the original 3D Realms developers. It is a brand new game built on the Build Engine.
Well, guess what? I have it. So
of course you do. I have the GOG version if people don't. And so I think we need to play Ion Fury.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm planning on having some kind of like I want to implement some kind of like voting structure that where we can, because I know a lot of the craft computing people are going to be at the PDX LAN.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to. I loved the last session that we went to, but I was disappointed in the organization of what we would all play.
Right.
Me, you, and Rhett played the hell out of Baldur's Gate 3, and that was a ton of fun. I loved it. I had a great ton of fun about that. But with the other craft computing, we weren't really incorporating with them that much. I would like to do that a little more this time. I would like to see, like you said, maybe Ion Fury would be great. Duke Nukem 3D would be great. Unreal Tournament would be great. Yeah, that would be super fun. I'd love to see it. Ion Fury, I don't think has multiplayer. There's family sharing and single player, but I don't think it's multiplayer.
Oh, it's not.
No, it's not.
I could have swore they integrated.
Not that I see.
Dang it. All right, well, never mind on that one then. Yeah, single player only.
Too bad.
Dang. Speaking of multiplayer and potential for library sharing.
Yes.
Steam Families is going into a new beta where they are kind of expanding and, get this, loosening the restrictions on family sharing.
Yeah, so this is kind of an interesting thing. Family sharing has been around on Steam for a while. Yeah. They've always had well, I wouldn't say always, but for the longest time, they've had the ability where you can share with your family your library. And so as long as you weren't playing, someone else in your family could play the games in your library without having to own it. Well, they're kind of switching that up now. So they're actually having it to the point where if you have a game and you share your library with a family member, you can both play those games at the same time, which is huge, especially when you're like playing with your kids or whatnot.
Right.
I famously, me and my son loves Crab Champions. He loves Crab Champions. He thinks it's the greatest game ever.
Nice.
And he's like, Dad, you want to play with him? He's like, well, I'm the only one that's got a copy. So I'm like, well, hey, listen, we can both play Crab Champions now. So he's super excited about that. But there is some caveats to that. Steam has predicted that, potential people could abuse the system and share this with whoever and whomever. Yeah. But they have it set up that if you share your library with somebody and that person cheats on that particular game, you are also banned. So yeah, you have to be very, very cautious to who you share this with.
So let's back up and let's explain the current sharing system. The current sharing system is you can have a family plan. You can share with up to so many people in your family. Yeah. However, that copy of the game is permanently linked to your account. That means if you are playing a game on your Steam account, your family members cannot play any game in your library if you are active on Steam. Which has always been a little puzzling. It's like, well, I'm not playing that game, and so why am I limited by the DRM to a single instance? It's never made sense to me. The new family sharing is actually lifting that restriction.
Yes.
If you share out your library and say, I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, but my daughter wants to play Borderlands, and Borderlands is on my account, we can both play both of those games simultaneously. It doesn't restrict your account to a single instance of a single game. It allows your copy of Borderlands to be used by that person so long as you are not using Borderlands. Now, the total number of owned copies can still only be used simultaneously by that number of people. And so if you want to play, let's say, 2 copies of Borderlands or Baldur's Gate 3 or whatever the case may be, you still have to have that same number of accounts with that purchase. If you want to play 3 players on Baldur's Gate 3, you have to have 3 players who own Baldur's Gate 3 within your family. And so that all makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
They have restricted the joining and leaving of families, though, where if you join a family plan, you have to be on that family plan for a year. You can't just like jump to a random family plan and go, okay, I'm over at a friend's house, I'm gonna play all their games today. Doesn't work like that. Also, they will be tracking usage, and it is supposed to be for close family members only.
So tracking IP addresses, you can't have like an IP address all of a sudden from someone across the country is using my library. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Exactly. So, yeah, they didn't come right out and say we are limiting to specific IP addresses, but it was kind of implied that we're tracking where your instances are installed from.
Yeah. Which is a bummer because, as everybody knows, I have a huge Steam library, and I could totally auction it off to the highest bidder if somebody wants to join my family, be adopted by my Steam family. But, you have to live close by to make that happen. Come
on. You can only have a max of 6 players in your family. That is yourself plus 5. And once you add someone, they have to stay on your account for a year. And once you join an account, or once you join a family, you cannot leave that family and join another family for a year.
Right.
So you can leave the family at any time, but you can't join a family until a full calendar year has passed. Which I think is totally fine. If this is what this is designed for. And I like that they're loosening the restrictions around multi-copy. Because I've certainly had that frustration before of my daughter wanted to play Gunpoint, and I'm downstairs playing Baldur's Gate 3, and it's like, oh, sorry, that's on my account. You can't play Gunpoint right now. Well, you're not using it. Yeah, but I'm playing a game on my computer, or I'm doing my benchmarks, or whatever. Sorry. Yeah.
This fixes all that, which is nice.
Yeah.
I like this expansion of it. It's a much better use of the family sharing system, and I welcome our Steam overlords. Oh yeah, you cannot leave your wife for more than a year and pick another one. They got Steam's got stricter divorce rates than most states in the U.S.
Well, we're gonna go full Missouri and say you can't divorce your Steam husband if you're pregnant, and there's no two.
Yeah,
it's not a 2-party state anymore.
Yeah.
There's some dark humor in that.
Oh yeah. Steam retention rates versus divorce rates.
Couple more super chats before we end. Uber Sprite sends over another $10. Steve, have one more birthday drink. Happy birthday. What's your next?
It's kind of funny. It's not my birthday. My birthday's in November.
Yeah.
But I have some mixers that I'm going to probably mix after this. I have like a honey grapefruit mix that I'm going to do with, I don't know, with something. That's what I'm probably going to do next, actually.
On the video that aired today, I had a swizzle, a rum swizzle.
Yes, I saw the swizzle.
Yeah,
that sounds very interesting.
And I don't usually keep honey as a bar item. In fact, my wife got mad at me because I left the honey downstairs, and she has honey with her tea every morning, and so she had to have her tea without honey this morning, and she was really mad.
Oh, I want to clarify. It's Uber Sprite's birthday today. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. We read that wrong. It's his birthday, not my birthday. Let's have one more. It's his birthday, not my birthday. There we go. Happy birthday, Uber Sprite.
Happy birthday, Uber.
Yeah.
And then Rich chimes in for $2. StarCraft, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
Yes.
Rich is an old colleague of mine, and we had an afternoon of just putting around, and I am an old school StarCraft player, and Rich had never played it before. And so I gave him the basics, and I said, we were on a tall, skinny map. And I started at the top, and he started at the bottom. And I said, I'm just going to build my army, but I won't do anything until you're ready. So once you get a feel, once you whatever, let me know, and we'll go. And he goes, okay. And so like 40 minutes to an hour pass. Mm-hmm. And And he goes, all right, I think I'm ready to take you on. And I said, okay, just take your 17 units and start marching north. And he goes, how do you know how many units I have? And I said, because I have an observer right above you. I've been watching your every move for like 20 minutes.
You've been Protoss and you have like 15 carriers or something like that.
Yeah. I was Protoss and I had like 3 observers. He didn't have a single turret. Yeah. And so I'm just watching him work. He marched north and he met literally all 200 of my troops just like surrounding the canyon of his base.
Oh gosh.
Carriers and zealots.
Oh yeah, good old carriers. I love carriers.
Just ripped him to shreds. That was fun. I tried playing StarCraft again recently. I've aged a little bit. I'm a couple of moves slow.
Everybody's onto StarCraft 2 anyway, so
yeah. I tried a couple of online matches actually just like a month ago. I logged in and handily got my ass kicked. So I'm it's really funny because when Rich and I started working together, I was 21. Mm-hmm. And now I'm not.
Yes, absolutely not. You can't spend that much time strategizing over StarCraft.
Nope. I've missed some steps. I've missed some levels.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, Rich, I get it now, and I apologize for some of the things I may have said. But hey, cheers to you, my friend. Anyway, this is going to do it for episode 326 here on Talking Heads. Join us every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific time for the latest in beer and cocktail and tech news. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Leave me a comment. Let me know what do you want to play at a LAN party? What game have you been itching to play with 800 of your closest friends? Genuinely curious to know if your list and mine lines up. Anyway, craftcomputing.store. We've got rocks glasses and whiskey stones and a whole bunch of fantastic merch. Go give that a look. Help support the content that you like watching. We had a new video come out today. Watch that. I've got a new one coming up probably tomorrow, late afternoon, maybe Friday morning. Depends on when I can get the edit of it finished, but it should be another really fun one. Steve, any good of the order before we sign this one off and we see everyone at PDX LAN in 2 weeks?
No, actually just join the after party and we will talk more about that.
Join the Patreon, get exclusive access to the Discord server, and every single Wednesday night immediately following Talking Heads, you can join us in voice chat and chat with us either about the stories we talked about or wherever the day takes us. You think we go on some wild tangents here? Join the after party. It's a good time.
Yep.
Anyway, as always, thank you all so much for watching.